Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Walk in Obedience Bible study. It's been a while, but we get busy during the summer. I am Fuzzy. I am here with Dave, as we always are.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today.
If you're listening to this on YouTube and or on Podbean, we're live streaming it on Twitch. We have a live chat where you can talk with us, you can ask us questions, and we can give you answers. So, if you want to read along with us in your Bible, we're in Genesis chapter 24. We are starting there today. We're probably going to stay there today because it's rather long. I also would like to say hello to my mother. Hello, Mother.
Hey, Mom. How you doing?
So we might as well just jump in Genesis 24, verse 1. Abraham was now very old, and the Lord had blessed him in every way.
That's always a good commentary in your life, isn't it?
Yes.
You're old. However, you're blessed. And that's a wonderful thing to be blessed. And so now we're coming near to the end of... Abraham still has a few years left in him. But we're getting closer to the end of his life. And so he's going to start making provisions for the longevity, if you will, of his family.
Well, I think I'll finish out verse 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
It's kind of like the same thought. He said to the senior servant in his household, the one in charge of all he had, "Put your hand under my thigh. I want you to swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that you will not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I am living, but will go to my country and my own relatives and get a wife for my son Isaac."
All right. Definitely sounds like a strange thing that that happens there. But Abraham's making an oath, and to put your hand under your thigh is really kind of considered the I'm losing my job here. Sorry about that, guys. There's the verses. To put your hand under your thigh and to make an oath or to swear was really kind of the most highest sacred oaths that was had among the Hebrews. Sometimes they could say, I'll swear. Jesus talked about it where, don't swear on your children, on your mother's grave, things we say like that today. And he says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. And that idea, is old. Reaching back even as we see here with Abraham, making these oaths, and so putting the hand in the thigh, it's kind of a sacred place, right? We tell our children, don't let anybody touch you in those areas on the inner part of your thigh. And so it was very important to Abraham that Isaac was not allowed to choose a wife among these Canaanites, who are referred to as women who are beautiful, but they're also people who are not of God's people, and who are notable worshipers of the Baals and the Canaanite gods. And so he didn't want Isaac to get mixed up with intermarrying with these other cultures.
Yeah. So verse 5, the servant had, I think, a good question. The servant asked him, "What if the woman is unwilling to come back with me to this land? Shall I then take your son back to the country you came from?"
All right. What if she doesn't want to come?
Yeah.
You knock her on the head with a 2x4 and drag her with you.
All right. So we don't need to read verse 6 or 7.
But God's going to be with him in the choosing of the right person.
Yes.
Is what it's going to be. We don't need to read 6 or 7?
No, because you said hit her in the head with the 2x4.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the answer. Yeah, absolutely. No.
Well, what Abraham does say in verse 6, make sure that you do not take my son back there, Abraham said. The Lord, the God of heaven, who brought me out of my father's household and my native land, and who spoke to me and promised me on oath, saying, to your offspring I will give this land. He will send his angel before you so that you can get a wife for my son from there.
All right. Now, again, that idea that God is going to have his hand in identifying the correct bride for Isaac. He's going to take control of this. And if she's not willing to come, then you're free. Find anybody else, right?
Yep.
But it's, one of those things. If God makes a plan, if God says what's going to happen, it's going to work. And we see that it does.
In verse 8 it says, if the woman is unwilling to come back with you, then you will be released from this oath of mine. Do not take my son back there. So the servant put his hand under the thigh of his master Abraham and swore an oath to him concerning this matter.
Now, why do you assume that it was very imperative that the servant doesn't take Isaac with him? And I think it's because sometimes we choose the wrong mate, the wrong spouse, simply because of our eyes.
Yes.
We don't care who they are, what their background is. We don't care who they worship, what they believe. But man, they are pleasing and easy on the eyes, and they're beautiful, right? And so I start lusting after that person. And when you start lusting after somebody, it doesn't matter what anybody tells you. It doesn't matter what that person does until long time down the road, or after that lust is fulfilled, and then our eyes are opened and we realize maybe that wasn't the best choice that I made today. So I kind of think that if Isaac would have gone along with him, that it might have been a little more difficult to find this wife that was God chosen for Isaac.
Yes. In verse 10, then the servant left, taking with him 10 of his master's camels loaded with all kinds of good things from his master. He set out for that place.
Mesopotamia.
Yeah, mine doesn't say Mesopotamia.
Which one did you
Mine
say?
Aram Nahariim.
Okay.
I like yours better.
Yeah, me too. It makes it a little easier to read there.
And made his way to the town of Nahor.
And again, whatever your translation, yours is showing up there. It's the Mesopotamia is the same thing that's on the screen before you guys, and it's just that land generally that's really between the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers. On the map, if you look in the back of your Bible, usually there's a good map there.
My Bible is saying that area is northwest Mesopotamia.
Northwest. So it's still that kind of general region that it goes there. And because they were heading toward Nahor, anyhow. And, that's kind of the place that they're heading. They're heading towards. But this is the beginning of the, I don't know how you want to put it, the divine test that's going to come up. He's got his camels with him, and he leads. He's going to keep the promise that he has made to Abraham. And through the rest of this little paragraph, we see there's this test that is devised to know if the one that is going to be Isaac's wife is chosen by God or not because of what occurs.
So verse 11, I'll read all the way down to 14.
Okay, that'll be good.
Starting at 11, he had the camels kneel down near the well outside the town. It was toward evening, the time the women go out to draw water. Then he prayed, Lord God of my master Abraham, make me successful today and show kindness to my master Abraham. See, I am standing beside the spring, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water. May it be that when I say to a young woman, please let down your jar that I may have a drink, she says, drink, and I'll water your camels too. Let her be the one you have chosen for your servant Isaac. By this I will know that you have shown kindness to my master.
All
Well,
right.
there's his test.
What's that?
There's his test.
There's the test. That's right. And it's really a test of, I don't know, going the extra mile, maybe. All right. Not only am I going to get you a drink and be a servant to you, I mean, it shows really a kind heart.
Yes.
Because there's a strange person in this land. You've never met him before. He's a stranger. And you're willing to draw water for him. And not only that, but you're going to go that extra mile and get water for his animals too. And it's, it's not an easy thing. This would have been, when we think about wells and we think about water, we think about, these little tiny buckets of pictures we see in maybe fantasy movies or something, and maybe it's a gallon and, rolling up just 8 pounds of water, a gallon of water weighs 8 pounds, and you're rolling that up on a little crank, and it would have been something just easy peasy to do. But their pitchers were larger than that, so this is a heavyweight, and she's letting the pitcher down to fill up with water, pulling it up multiple times. So she's doing some really heavy work for this guy. And of course, in this day and age, we think, well, that's a man's job, that you've got to be doing this. But kind of the idea here is she is going to be a servant, and really a servant to God's people through her lineage too.
Moving on to verse 15. Before he had finished praying, Rebekah came out with her jar on her shoulder. She was the daughter of Bethuel, son of Milcah, who was the wife of Abraham's brother Nahor. The woman was very beautiful, a virgin. No man had ever slept with her. She went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up again.
All right. So a couple things we learned of her. She is a relative.
Yes.
Somewhat of a distant relative. Far enough along, we're not going to call out incest or anything like that. And so a distant relative of Isaac. She's beautiful, right? She's chaste. She's not had any relations with anybody else before. She is a virgin, and she comes here and she offers, right? She goes down to fill the pitcher, and again you see that idea that it isn't just this tiny bucket that she's carrying by the hand, but a large vessel that she's carrying on her shoulder to bring to the well to retrieve a lot of water, and she offers the water to. Well, we haven't got there yet, but when the servant asks for water, yes,
we're close. If you read the head,
I am. I'm sorry about that.
So, verse 17, the servant hurried to meet her and said, "Please give me a little water from your jar." Drink, my lord, she said, and quickly lowered the jar to her hands and gave him a drink. After she had given him a drink, she said, I'll draw water for your camels too, until they have had enough to drink. So she quickly emptied her jar into a trough, ran back to the well to draw more water, and drew enough for all his camels. Without saying a word, the man watched her closely to learn whether or not the Lord had made his journey successful. Did he really have to watch? I mean, she was doing everything. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I kind of wonder if the mindset of that is, is she doing it out of resentment and anger? I really
Yeah.
don't want to do this, but, all right, I'm going to. Did she do it joyfully, out of the kindness of her heart? Or was she doing it in hopes to get paid, or maybe try to deceive him to steal something from his camels? You're sitting there and you're feeding. I guess you're not really feeding the camels, but you're giving the camels something to drink, and then rummaging through some of his stuff. As a devious woman of the night might be doing. Try to steal
Right,
from him.
was like if the servant was standing there, she's done watering them, and he walks up and goes, I don't know, this camel over here still looks kind of thirsty.
She got to take that, yeah. But you even see, I'm gonna go back up, back to that verse. She's doing it very quickly. It's not even like she's just dragging her feet like sometimes whenever we do something reluctantly today.
Yeah.
She's got a spring in her step and she's doing it, and she's, draws enough water for all the camels until they're not thirsty anymore. And so, again, she's a hard-working lady with a lot of care and love and kindness to show to this stranger. And from all that I can read in the story, without the desire for something in return, just doing it simply out of kindness to this person.
Oh, sorry, I was yawning. So, verse 22, when the camels had finished drinking, the man took out a gold nose ring weighing a beka and 2 gold bracelets weighing 10 shekels. Then he asked, oh man, I can't read today. Then he asked, whose daughter are you? Please tell me, is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night?
All right. A good bit of money right here. You got a half a shekel for a nose ring. You've got 10 shekels of gold for the bracelets. I don't have the conversions of what that would come out to be.
I do.
Quickly. Do you have it in your information there?
Yes.
Okay.
5.7 grams and 115 grams.
All right, so 115 grams and 5 grams, so you got about 120 grams, right? Right now, a gram of gold, right? No, there's an ounce of gold. An ounce of gold is about $12,000 for an ounce. How many grams?
Here, I'll tell you, it's 1/5 of an ounce and 4 ounces.
All right, so just a little over 4 ounces. So 4 times 12. Do some quick math there. 4 times 11 is 44. So you're looking at $48,000 in our money today. That's a pretty good payday.
Yes.
Just for watering a servant and watering camels. And so, there's some joyous that happens here after this, but I mean, she quickly learns that this man is somebody who is important, somebody who is powerful, and apparently somebody who is very wealthy too.
Now I wonder, was this kind of like a show of power to Rebecca, showing because this guy knows that he's going to say, hey, I got this dude that you're going to want to meet and ultimately marry. Is this kind of showing her we can take care of you, and showing her family we can take care of her?
I would think so. I mean, it would definitely give her a little more feeling of being at ease
Yeah.
to go along with this servant and to leave family behind to go meet Isaac. Um, Somebody came in with just one camel, right?
Yeah.
All torn up, tethered, and dusty. You might think, I don't want to travel with this guy. I don't trust him. I don't know him. But to have that much wealth, just go ahead.
I don't know. She's probably thinking if you came in like that, I don't think this guy's going to take me where he says.
Exactly. You'd be a little iffy on this, but somebody who's able to just to give you so much at the beginning of that, you kind of wonder, this is somebody important. This is somebody powerful.
Moving on into verse 24, she answered him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son that Milcah bore to Nahor. And she said, we have plenty of straw and fodder, as well as room for you to spend the night.
All right. So she's going to continue to be sometimes it's a little easier to be a servant to people when you can recognize very quickly their power and their wealth. But here she offers, right? He's gone on this journey that his camels are thirsty. They're probably hungry as well and need a place to stay. So she offers that to Abraham's servant.
And then in verse 26, the man bowed down and worshipped the Lord, saying, Praise be to the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who has not abandoned his kindness and faithfulness to my master. As for me, the Lord has led me on the journey to the house of my master's relatives. So this servant knew the people she was talking about.
Yep. Yeah, and you see the praise to God, that it worked out exactly like the servant had planned.
Yes.
Right? If we go there, she does this, this, and this, and this. All right? She comes out, she does this, this, and this. And I don't know, I don't read anything in there of his test that she needed to offer him a place to stay.
Yeah.
And so, she even goes above and beyond showing kindness to this servant than what he had originally planned. And so he says, I know this is the person that God has led me to for a wife for Isaac.
Moving on to verse 28, the young woman ran and told her mother's household about these things, not the things. Now Rebekah had a brother named Laban, and he hurried out to the man at the spring. As soon as he had seen the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's arms, and had heard Rebekah tell what the man said to her, he went out to the man and found him standing by the camels near the spring. Come, you who are blessed by the Lord, he said, why are you standing out here? I have prepared the house and a place for the camels.
All right.
You're kind of like, oh, we got some people here.
Right? Rebecca didn't just bring home the stray dog from down the street. She brought home the prized the blue ribbon award-winning camels, and so her brother noticed these things, that this is somebody important, this is somebody wealthy. Don't stand outside. Come inside.
Yeah, like what I'm seeing in my head is she's telling people this, and he just like gets up out of his chair and runs.
Yeah.
So verse 32, so the man went to the house, and the camels were unloaded. Straw and fodder were brought for the camels, and water for him and his men to wash their feet. Then food was set before him, but he said, I will not eat until I have told you what I have to say. Then tell us, Laban said.
All right. Okay. So again, I don't think really anything new there, other than they welcome him in, they give him the red carpet treatment, and that whole idea of the servanthood, washing of the feet, uh, being
I got a
ho-
call. I'll be right back.
okay, being hospitable, offering them food, offering a place for the camels to rest. It's not just Rebecca, who is this kind person who is going above and beyond to show hospitality. But as we see, it's the whole family. The brother gets up, Laban, to go out there and to meet this stranger and to be hospitable to and make sure that they're being taken care of, and offer him food. And then here, the next thing we see is where Abraham's servant is going to let them know of this test of God. That it wasn't just happenstance that he ended up at this well, and that Rebecca just happened to be there and these things worked. That it was God led, that this test was set up, that the woman who was going to be Isaac, and it's all, I believe, to let them know that there is a fitful husband for you back home that you need to go and meet, because it's not just something that just randomly happened, right? But it was God led this servant to Rebecca to be the chosen wife of Isaac. All right, my fuzzy's out. We'll just go ahead and continue on, because I'm not sure how long he might be. And so he tells the story, verse 34. And so he says, I am Abraham's servant. The Lord has blessed my master greatly, and he has become great. And he had given him flocks and herds and silver and gold, male and female servants, and camels and donkeys. And Sarah, my master's wife, bore a son to my master when she was old. And to him he has given all that he has. All right. And so he begins telling the life history of his master Abraham. And I like that it wasn't because of Abraham's diligence. It wasn't because of Abraham's knowledge. It wasn't because of Abraham's hard work and his knowledge of farming and his knowledge of animals that allowed him to have what he has. But his servant acknowledges that everything that Abraham has is because of God. There's no other way around it. That Abraham has become great because the Lord has blessed him. It was the Lord that had given him flocks and herds. It was the Lord that had given him the silver and the gold. It was the Lord that had given him the servants that he has. And really, when we step back and we think about it in our own lives, everything that we have comes from God. He gives us the ability to work if we're able to work. He gives us the ability to have the wisdom and the knowledge that we have. And if it wasn't for God, we wouldn't have anything that we have. Sometimes it can be greed that wants us to want more things, more material things of this life. But it all, everything that we do have, everything that we need is supplied to us by God. And so he begins to tell a story of Sarah and Abraham, how they were old and the promised son was yet to come and yet to come. And that's what we've been talking about for the last couple weeks. All these years passed, and the whole issue with Hagar and Ishmael, and here, finally, when she was old, she bore a son. And so they continue to tell a story. Now look, my master Abraham made me swear, saying, you're not going to take a wife from the sons and daughters. Hello. Did my phone just cut off? We lost Lucas. I think he's back now.
Okay, yes, I'm back.
Okay. My phone just beeped a second ago, and I was like, wait a minute, we just lost you.
I don't get many phone calls, so when I have two going on at once, I don't know how to switch between them.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, so where are we?
Okay. We had just been talking about, bringing you up to speed, on, where did I read? Verses 34 through 36, just about how the servant said that, everything that really Abraham has came from God. And he was blessed by God for he has what he has. And then he's going to start telling the story of the promise that Abraham made him make. So if you want to start in verse 37 there, that'd be great.
All right, verse 37. And my master made me swear an oath and said, you must not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I live, but go to my father's family, and to my own clan, and get a wife for my son. Then I asked my master, what if the woman will not come back with me? He replied, the Lord before whom I have walked faithfully will send his angel with you and make your journey a success so that you can get a wife for my son from my own clan and my father's family. I guess I should finish it. 41.
Sure.
You will be released from my oath if, when you go to my clan, they refuse to give her to you, then you will be released from my oath.
All right.
So he told him the whole story.
Yeah, he told him the whole story. This is exactly how it went. And I think, again, it for Rebecca and the family who was there, Rebecca and Laban, and mom and dad and whoever else is there in this household, is hearing the story to find out that this isn't just, again, it just happened, just coincidence. This is God led, and it's important, since you were the chosen one, Rebecca, to come back with me. But again, here we have a little bit of free will.
Yeah.
We argue about, do we have free will? And absolutely we have free will. And here's an example of it, right? God leads this servant to Rebecca. She does exactly what the test was. She fulfilled it, and even more so. And the stipulation is still there, right?
Yeah.
If she refuses to go with you, and the family refuses to release her to you, to come to Isaac, to be his wife, you're free and clear. You done your job.
And I mean, if you had no free will, what's the point of showing her that they have money and riches and she'll be taken care of?
Yeah, he could have just knocked her right on the back of the head with the 2x4 and drug her by her hair, that caveman mentality, and bring her back home. But how happy would that marriage be?
Yeah.
At least she is willing to go and to meet Isaac and be part of this family, and to understand that she is somebody very important in God's plan.
And moving on to 42. When I came to the sprinkler, I said, Lord God of my master Abraham, if you will, please grant success to the journey on which I have come. See, I am standing beside the spring. If a young woman comes out to draw water, and I say to her, please let me drink from the water, please let me drink a little water from your jar, and if she says to me, drink, and I'll draw water for your camels too, let her be the one the Lord has chosen for my master's son.
All right. So we see what he was doing, right?
Yep.
He was praying to God, right? Again, this was the test that was set up, and he loves his master Abraham, and he wants to do a good job, if you will, in fulfilling the task that he had given him. So he's praying to God for some help. Let this happen. And I like, as he's reiterating how this is supposed to go. In verse 45, he opens up and he says, and before I even finished speaking my heart, before I even finished praying to God that he allows us to happen, bam, there she is.
Yeah, it happened that quick.
Before I was speaking, there was Rebecca with the pitcher on her shoulder.
In 46, she quickly lowered her jar from her shoulder and said, "Drink, and I'll water your camels too." So I drank, and she watered the camels too. I asked her, "Whose daughter are you?" She said, "The daughter of Bethuel, son of Nahor, whom Milcah bore to him." And then I put a ring in her nose and bracelets on her arms, and I bowed down and worshipped the Lord. I praised the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who had led me on the right road to get the granddaughter of my master's brother for his son. Now, if you will show kindness and faithfulness to my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, so I may know which way to turn.
All right. Whew. All right. The chapter seems so daunting, but it's just, it's retelling the story, right? And this is, often I tell people whenever we're working together on how to write a sermon, and I say, look, you're going to introduce it and tell them what you're going to tell them. And then in the discussion, you tell them what you told them you're going to tell them. And then the conclusion, you're going to reiterate that you told them what you told them that you were going to tell them that you told them. And that's what we have here in chapter 24, right? This is how it's going to go. This is how it went. And now he's retelling the story to the family so they know how it all went. So now everybody is all clued in.
Yep,
so,
we're all on the same page now.
We're all on the same page. And since you know the story, he pretty much asks, how is this going to play out? Right?
Yep.
Do you allow her to fulfill God's plan? Or with free will, do you allow her to stay here and I am free of my bonds? And I can go be back, not have fear of Abraham because I couldn't fulfill his duty that he gave me. What's it going to be?
And I think that's a good place to end it.
Ooh, we're going to have a cliffhanger.
Don't read ahead, because then you'll know what's happening.
Don't read ahead, okay. We'll try not to.
I want to say thank you for everyone being here. Twitch, we're going to do, like we always do, Q&A with you. So if you have any questions, put them in chat. I want to say thank you for everyone that came out and listened to us. Thank you on YouTube for you guys spending time to listen to our Bible study, and everyone on Podbean for taking time out of their day to listen to our Bible study. And thank you, Dave, for doing this with me every week.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
And we'll be back again next week. So, as always, God bless, and I'll see you.
All right. Take care, guys.